In this video, we are going to discuss the tree data structure and its one traversal algorithm, that is breadth first search or level order search. I will give you a line by line simple explanation of all the code that we will write in this video. Watch this video till the end, as we will also do a dry run of all the code so that we understand each and every line of our code. My name is Aditya Shenoy from Brainy Things, where I make programming simple and fun. YouTube statistics show that some of you who watch my videos are not subscribed to this channel, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing to this channel to see more programming related videos. It is free and you can always change your mind in future. Before defining the tree data structure, we need to define the nodes of the tree. So for that, I will define a class with the name node. I will define its constructor by defining the init function. Apart from self parameter, this function will have a data parameter. We will set self.data is data, that will be the data of the node of the tree. The tree that we are considering in this example will be a binary tree. So each node will have two children, left child and right child. So self.left is none and self.right is none. So this is the entire code that we need to write for the node class. Now we can start writing the structure of the tree. So the tree example that we are considering in this video will be displayed on the screen right now. I will make the connections as per this reference image. So the root node will be node 1. Root node has two children, so root.left is node 2 and root.right is node 3. Now we can consider the children of node 2. So node 2, which is root.left, its left child is node 4 and node 2 again, and its right child is node 5. Now there is only one child of the node 3. Node 3 is root.right, its left child is node 6. You can verify the connections of this tree as per this reference image, and we can execute this cell to construct the tree. Now we can start writing the code for the breadth first search or level order search. So for that, I will define the function BFS, which stands for breadth first search, and we need to pass the root node from which the searching process should begin. The data structure that is used in the breadth first search is the queue data structure. So we need to create a queue data structure and initially fill it with the root node like this. The breadth first search states that the nodes that are closer to the root node will get processed first. So we are using queue data structure because the nodes that are present closer to the root node will enter the queue first, so they will exit out of the queue first. So first in first out. So we are using a queue data structure, and we will process all the nodes while queue is empty. In Python, when we pass an iterable like this inside the if condition or the while condition like this condition will become true when the iterable is non-empty, and it will become false when the iterable is empty. So initially the queue is not empty, so this will initially become true, and inside the while loop we need to extract the first element of the queue. So we will use queue dot pop 0 so that we can extract the first node, as well as it will remove the first node from the queue, so that this while condition will become false eventually. And after popping this node, we will print node.data ending with a space. This is the processing of the node. So in our case, we are just printing node.data, but it can have any logic that you want. Now, as the current node has been processed, we need to add the child nodes, that is left child and the right child, to the queue. So we will append queue dot append node dot left and queue dot append node dot right. So this is the basic structure that a breadth first search will carry, but there are some problems over here. Whenever we have an object oriented program, that is when we are using a dot operator like this, we should think that what will happen if the variable to the left of the dot operator becomes none. So there are 4 lines in our program which contains dot operator. Q.pop is not a problem because we are already checking while Q. So Q will not become empty and this will not raise an error ever, because non-empty queues can pop anything, but empty queues will raise an error if we call pop function. But we are ensuring that the queue is not empty while by this while condition, so we are good there. Now node.data, just consider the first node for the iteration. What if the root node that we pass inside this function is none, that is there are no nodes in the tree? In that case, it will try to access none.data and that will lead to an error. And technically we should not append that into the queue as well, because there are no nodes to process, so we should not append the node to the queue. So before adding the root node to the queue, we should add a condition. If root, then only we should process all these things. And if the root is none, we don't want to print anything, like we don't have to process anything. So there is no need to write anything in the else clause or over here. So we have solved this node.data issue. Q.append, empty list can also append elements to it, so there is no problem with the q dot thing. But there is a problem with node.left and node.right. We don't want to append any none elements to the queue because we don't want to process them. So before appending node.left and node.right, we need to check whether these node.left and node.right are not none values. So for that, we will use if node.left and if node.right. Now what this if condition will do, it will check if there are children available for processing. So consider an example like there is only one node in the entire tree. There are no children nodes. In that case, the root will get processed normally, but there are no child available. So there is no need to append any node to the queue, because if we append a none value to the queue, that value gets popped out in the next iteration and none.data will get printed. So we want to ensure that we are not passing any none values to this queue. So we are ensuring that with the if condition. If no.left, we will append no.left. If no.right, we will append no.right. And if they are none, this line will get skipped. So after all the boundary cases checked, this is the entire code of the breadth first search. Now as we have written all the function, we can call this function breadth first search root. And as you can see, this is printed level wise. The first level gets printed, the second level gets printed, and the third level gets printed. And hence this breadth first search is also called as level order search. Now we have written all the code for the breadth first search, but to understand each and every line of the code and to see how program executes our code, we can use the dry run approach. So I will run the file, this bfs dry run. You can find this py file in my GitHub profile that I have linked in the description. So this is the debugger section. This is the code section. It contains all the code that we have written. This arrow indicates which line the program is currently executing. This is the calculation section. This section is important because it shows what values the variables are carrying. So for example, in the first line, the value that is passed inside the function is 1. Notice that 1 is not the actual value of the root, because root is actually carrying a node object, but we are representing node object by its data. So when root is carrying a value of 1, so that means this root is node 1 and not the integer 1. Next is the variable section. This will contain all the variables that are present in the local scope. In this case also, node is represented by its data and not the actual hexadecimal address that gets printed normally. And this is the print output section. As our code contains print statement, and we are using the console area for printing these debugging sections. So we need to have a separate section for printing our message that we have written in our code. So this print statement will print the output over here. So let's execute. We have passed node 1 in this function. It will check if this root is not none. Yes, it is not none, so this becomes true. It enters the if condition. It will initialize the queue with the root node, a single element of root node. Now it will check if the queue is not empty. It is not empty because it contains one element. So this becomes true. It enters the while loop. Now it will pop out the first element. So this is the previous queue. It will pop the first element from the queue. That is, node will have a value of 1. That is, node 1 will be present in the node, and after this execution queue will become empty because we are popping the first element. It will print node.data in the print output section. Now it will check if the node 1 has a left child or not. Yes, it has a child, so this becomes true, and it will append the left child of the node 1, that is 2. So initially the queue was empty, and after appending this 2, the queue will look like this. Next it will check if the current node has a right child. Yes, it has. So it will append node.write, that is, once right child is 3, to the queue. So 2 was initially the queue and 2 comma 3 after appending. For the next iteration, queue is non-empty, like before this statement the queue will look like this. So 2 3, it is not empty, so it will enter the if condition while loop again. It will pop the 0th element again. So this is the previous queue. It will pop the 0th element. So the queue will look like this, and node will carry a node 2. It will print the node 2. It will check if node 2 has a left child or not. Yes, it has a left child. So it will enter this if condition and append node.left, that is 2.left, that is node 4, to the queue. So the queue will look like this. Next line will check if the node has a right child or not. Yes, it has a right child. So it will append 2.write, that is 5, to the queue. Now the queue before this statement will look like this. So this is not empty, so it will again enter the while loop. It will pop the 0th element again. So after popping, queue will look like this, and node will carry a node 3 value. It will print node's data. It will check if 3 has a left child or not. Yes, it has a left child. So it will enter the if condition and it will append 3.left, that is 6, to the queue. But when it checks that if whether the node 3 has a right child or not, this condition will become false because node.write is none. So it will skip this next line, and the current queue is looking like this, so it is not empty. So it will again enter the while loop. It will pop out the first element. So current node will be 4, and the queue after popping will look like this. It will print the current node's data, that is 4. It will check if 4 has a left child or not. No, it does. 4 is a leaf node, so it does not have any left child. So it will skip. It will check if node has a right child. No, it does not have. So this will also skip. So the queue will look like this, 5 and 6. It is not empty, so it will enter the while loop again. Before popping, the queue will look like this. So it will pop the 0th element. So node will carry a value of 5 and the queue will become 6. It will print the current node's data, that is 5, in the print output section. It will check if 5 has a left child. No, it does not. So it skips. If node has a right child, no, it does not. So it skips. Now the queue will look like this. So it is not empty. So it will again enter the while loop. It will pop the 0th element, that is the only element present in the queue, and the current node will become 6 and the queue is now empty. It will print the node's data, current node's data, that is 6. 6 does not have a left child, so this becomes false. 6 does not have a right child either, so this becomes false. Now the queue is empty, so the while loop will stop because all the nodes are processed and we don't have any nodes to process inside the queue. So it will exit out of the while loop and this function will return back to the main function where this function was called. In this way, the breadth first search is done. Now, what are the uses of this breadth first search? Breadth first search returns the shortest path in graphs and trees if the edges are unweighted. There are lots of BFS variants that can be written which involves level order traversal of trees. The time complexity of this algorithm is O of n, if n is the number of nodes in the tree. This is because we are traversing all nodes in the tree. The space complexity is linear, that is O of n, as the queue fills the entire level of the tree inside it, which is much higher than the logarithmic space complexity of depth first search. But it avoids recursion, so that is a good point. If you ended up liking this video, please press that like button, comment any feedback that you have for this video or this channel, share this video with your friends. The code that I write in all my videos of this channel is available in my GitHub profile, whose link is in the description. You can connect to me via LinkedIn, whose link is again in the description. If you want to see a line-by-line explanation of data structures and algorithms like this, check out the playlist over here. If you want to learn Python built-in functions along with various Python features, tips, tricks, and real project examples, then check out the playlist over here. If you want to see a hands-on game development project, check out the playlist over here. And I will see you in the next video.